Hey friends, my name is Chrissy. Welcome back to Stronger Every Day. So today we are going to talk about Galatians 6:9, and I have talked about this verse before, but I wanted to talk about it again, so I'm going to read it and then we'll dive in. Galatians 6:9, and let us not lose heart and grow weary and faint in acting nobly and doing right. For in due time, all the appointed season we shall reap if we do not loosen and relax our courage and faint. Sometimes in life, God leads us the hard way instead of the easy path. That is Him working in us. Now, we don't love that, right? We like the easy route. We like the simple, quick, fast, perfect, get it done in a hurry and move on to the next thing. If you look at the children of Israel, take them as an example. They made an 11-day journey, a 40-year adventure, trying to... If you think about the fact that they could have had it done in less than 2 weeks, and it took 40 years, and then out of all of that, only Caleb and Joshua, out of all that group, actually made it into the promised land. And we kind of wonder, or I wonder, why? Because it took that long and it took that much to get them to realize all that God had done for them. And I feel like He feels that way about us, about me sometimes, of, you know, why did I struggle with depression and anxiety for 27 and a half years? I don't think that was ever God's intention. I think it took me that long to make a 2-day journey. It took me 27 and a half years to finally get it and understand it. I've talked about, I felt God was calling me for a while to do something, but I wasn't really sure what, but I knew that He had called me to leave where I was. But I was afraid. I was concerned about money. I was concerned about telling my story. I was concerned about judgment. And I'll be real honest, sometimes those are hard because I don't want to hear the criticism, like not someone challenging or asking a question, but the mean-spiritedness that sometimes comes with being on this platform. And I really haven't faced any of that, but I know that there's definitely potential there. And I love that the fact, you know, about 6 months ago, I was kind of getting a little discouraged because this December will be 3 years that I've been actively pursuing what I feel like God called me to do, which is help Christians who struggle with mental illness. And I look at the channel and I think, well, you know, I don't know, is it doing anything? Is it successful? And then you guys will comment in the comment section, or you'll ask a question. And to be real honest, there for a little bit, it kind of bothered me that, you know, maybe this video only got, and it's not something I had ever really paid attention to, but I started looking and I think this was the devil. Well, you know, there's only 40 people that watched that video, or there was 140 that watched your other one, or there was, whatever that number is, which I had never paid attention to, nor do I really pay attention to the subscriber count. But I had started looking at both of those and feeling like a failure, like what I was doing isn't enough, or maybe, you know, even doubting, you know, am I supposed to be doing this? And then that still small voice reminded me that it doesn't matter if you help, how many you help. It matters that you help, at least you helped one, right? You helped one person understand that they're not alone. And I've made a commitment to make a video every week. Sometimes I've tried to do 2. It just depends on the stage of life I'm in, but make a video every week because that's what I feel like God's called me to do. And day in and day out, or I should say week in and week out, I'm blown away by the response of it. And it's not something that I'm doing, it's something that God's doing through me. And I'm going to keep doing this as long as I feel that He has a call on my life to do it. I feel like the devil hates this channel, and he's very irritated by the fact that it is helping people. So if he can come at me from a more human angle and say, well, you know, you're just kind of wasting your time, you have other things you could be doing, this isn't really helping anybody, then when I stop and think about it, it kind of makes me happy, because obviously I'm ticking him off a little bit, and I'm not gonna lie, it makes me happy to tick the devil off, because he certainly has played with my mind for many years. So it does my heart good to know that he's irritated at something that I'm doing to him. A little payback there. But yeah, so there's things that we do, and that's an example for me. So this channel, I've talked about, it's being very real and very vulnerable, and it was something that I was very nervous about. It was something that is out of the norm for me, because I tried so hard to hide it. And then to not lose heart, right? Not grow weary, not faint in acting nobly and doing right, which is all the things that I feel like God is calling me to do on this channel. And to realize that the crop is coming, right? It's like we have a garden this year. It's a smaller version of a garden, but we have a garden growing mainly for things to feed the goats and chickens. We've got some pumpkins and zucchinis and cucumbers, watermelon, and then some flowers. And we're gonna eat some of that, but a lot of it's just for extra treats for them. But super small garden, but they all started with a seed. And it's taking time and sun and water and patience and tilling and all the things to get those to grow. And that's kind of what God is using here as an example. And sometimes it's hard when maybe you don't see what you feel like you should see. And I look back at some people that I watch that are pastors, and I think I'm reminded of their beginning. And I'm not called to pastor. I'm not a pastor. I'm not called to pastor, but my calling. And so I look back at how things started for them, and it was slow. And they all acknowledged that, but that got them to where they are today by allowing God to continue to work on them, so he can continue to work on me, so that when negative things happen, that I can respond gracefully and godly, not fleshly to those. But I love that verse. I think we read through our Bible. I don't think we actually take time to study it. But I'm going to read it again. And let us not lose heart and grow weary and faint in acting nobly and doing right. For in due time and at the appointed season, we shall reap if we do not loosen and relax our courage and faint. We're walked through seasons, right? Not all of them are rainbows and sunshine. Some of them are valleys. And we like typically the beginning of something and the end of something, but we're not too fired up about the middle. Is this something I'm going to be doing long term? I don't know. God will let me know if and when it's time to move or shift or stop or regroup. But what I know now is that this is where he wants me. And the fact that the devil even challenged that a few months back lets me know that I'm on the right path. It's a reminder to me that you don't fight anything that's not working. And so I have to be reminded sometimes of that, with my job and with this and with things that are challenged in my life, that if it's God's calling, you have to keep going forward even when you're being challenged, even when things are hard and you're losing courage and you want to faint. That does not mean that you can't rest, recoup, and move forward. There was somebody I was talking to in the comments the other day, and I was so proud of you guys when you're going through hard times, but you continue every day to move forward, and the strength and the courage that takes, that you're not growing weary and fainting despite how you feel. And we know that when you struggle with depression and anxiety, that can be awful. You can feel quite awful, and we're so good at hiding that. It always amazes me how well I'm fine works, but on the inside we're not. I love this verse. I would encourage you, if you can grab onto a verse, don't just read it, but study it. Maybe try to get some of the backstory of it, especially if it's a verse that touches you or really resonates with you. Don't just skip and keep going because you need to get through that chapter. take that verse and do some research, dive deep into it, think about it, pray on it, meditate on it, and see what God is speaking to you. That's one of the reasons why I do these. I'll add like, you know, the verse at the end to talk about a different verse, because it's obviously a verse that's kind of jumped off the page to me, and then I could kind of dive in deep. And this verse may mean something to me different in 5 years than it does now. That's the beauty of God's word, is he reveals things to you when you need to hear them. Instead of, you know, have you ever been like your first day of the job and they're telling you 737 different facts about the job and how to do it, and your mind is blown and you're in overload and you didn't hear what they said after hello, my name is. That's kind of how I feel about God, is that he gives it to us slowly so that we can understand it and comprehend it. And then if we will actually take the time to learn it and read it versus just trying to speed through it and say, well, I read all of Galatians today, or I read chapter 6 today. I read my however many 4 verses, I think, in the Bible to get it through in a year, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I would always encourage, if there's something that jumps off the page to you or really kind of tugs on your heart when you're reading it, to stop and take a second and dive back into that, just to see kind of what you're getting from it there. So friends, I end every video this way. Again, it's always my heart and hope that you feel this last part, and that is this: God loves you. I love you. Your friends, your family love you, and we need you here. We'll see you in the next one, friends. Bye.